As a benefits, retirement, and employee development specialist, Sharon Harrel excels with over 30 years of distinguished federal government service. As an associate certified coach with the International Coaching Federation, Sharon specializes in helping individuals identify barriers, shift mindsets, and create actionable steps toward achieving success. She is also a DISC practitioner, certified transition, retirement, and financial coach with certifications in Lego Serious Play for groups and teams, Lego Creative Coaching, and emotional intelligence. With her relatable style, Sharon leverages her expertise to inspire, empower, and engage audiences around the world, motivating them to embrace their potential and live their fullest lives. Here to present Embracing Transitions, Turning Stress into Strength and New Beginnings into Opportunities, please welcome Sharon C. Harrell.
Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm so excited to be able to provide this information to you. And we're going to start off, as it was mentioned, talking about transitions and how to embrace them and get through them. As it was mentioned, I'm a certified coach. I have my own business, Royalty Business Group, and I specialize in learning and development and coaching. So let's get started. If we can go to the next slide, please. So let's make sure that we know that we understand that stress comes in various forms. We can't get away from stress. At some point during our day, we're going to face some type of stress, whether it's job related within our families, whether we have our own business or things we just take on for ourselves. An example of stress has happened since January 20th, when our world seemed like it was turning upside down. Everything was happening that had never happened before, and we didn't understand why. It's kind of similar to what we say about the stages of grief. You know, we were in denial, and then we were angry, and then, we are just trying to continue to grasp this, whatever's going on. And so now we want to make sure that we understand how we can move forward with these various stresses and how we can deal with them. So I want to ask you a question. How do you turn uncertainty into growth and new beginnings for opportunities? Well, we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about understanding stress during transitions. We're going to give some strategies on shifting that stress into strength and embracing opportunities into growth. Next slide, please. Stress is the natural response for us whenever we have uncertainty, whenever we don't understand what's going on, what's happening to us within our lives and other lives. And we express stress through anxiety, nervousness, sadness, and we have an array of negative emotions. And a lot of times our minds go into one of three areas. We either react with a fight where we're just angry and we want to just take on the situation no matter what it is. We're going to flight, where we just leave it and just remove ourselves from it as if it doesn't exist. Or we freeze and we become immobilized and just do nothing. Depending on the situation and who's involved, it affects me. And sometimes I may take either of or any or all of these situations. But I want you to take a moment and think about, how do you react when you deal with stress? Do you fight, flight, or freeze? Next slide, please. So stress during transition in our lives, we have to learn how to deal with it. And there are areas in which we deal with this stress. Could be in the ending of something, whether it's a job, a death of a family or friend, whether it's a marriage, or even doing something routine. And then we have the messy middle, when we're in between that ending of something and the beginning of something, and we just don't know what to do. We don't know how to handle it. We don't know how to get things done. We're not trying to understand the reasons behind those things and how to start something and how our mind is going, ending that other thing. And then the new beginning. How do we deal with starting over, reinventing ourselves if we need to, overcoming the challenges that we had before, whether it's imposter syndrome, facing the fear of failure, and sometimes facing the fear of success. So what we're going to do in those situations and how we're going to use catalysts, the growth is what we're going to talk about next. Next slide, please. So here's a brief activity that I want you to do just where you are. I want you to think of a recent situation in which there's a transition. Maybe you're going from one career to another. You might have to relocate from one place to another. You may have the death of a family or friend or the ending of a relationship. Now, if you feel comfortable, I want you to type into the chat whether you had a fight, a flight, or a freeze situation for yourself. I know for myself, dealing with everything that's been going on since January 20th, I was ready to fight. I was ready to get out there and do these things that I hadn't done in the past. Protests, be a part of marches, all kinds of things, because I just didn't understand what was going on. And I still have that fight in me, but I had to understand how to use it properly. So now that you've written down whether you had the fight, flight, or fear situation within yourself, I want you to rewrite that and find a hidden opportunity in that experience. So I want you to write something like, losing a job is a chance for me to explore my passion or to create a new career path for me. And then again, if you feel comfortable, share it in the chat. Next slide, please. So we're going to go through some ways in which we can turn these stress into strengths. First, we're going to talk about acceptance and mindset. As I mentioned, I was going through that fight situation, and in my mind, I was trying to figure out, what I was trying to do. But I had to come to, how am I going to accept what's going on and still fight what I feel is wrong? So stress is not the enemy. It's a signal for growth. And that's what I learned about myself. I'm growing from where I used to be, because I used to be more of a freeze. And I was like, no, now it's time to fight. Then it also helps to build emotional resilience. Developing our self-awareness and being able to regulate our emotions is extremely important, especially during times of stress. So we need to understand what causes the stress within us and then how to react properly so we can help develop our coping mechanisms. Then there's also support mechanisms, support systems. So we could lean on our mentors, our networks, our family and friends, our personal and professional people that give us guidance and support whenever we need it. And then being action-oriented in our thinking. Overcoming stress during transitions helps us to break those things into smaller, actionable steps. Sometimes it could just be overwhelming and all the things you may want to do or all the stress that you're dealing with. So once we break those things down into actionable steps, it's like taking an elephant and biting off a chunk at a time in order to eat the whole thing. Next slide, please. So here's a tool that I want you to think about in order to control the transitions that you have that may be causing you stress. Again, identify maybe a current transition that you are now facing. And I want you to write one step. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to think of multiple steps. Just think of one step that you can take immediately today that can turn that uncertainty into progress. And again, if you feel comfortable, share it in the chat so we can continue to encourage you to move forward in that progress. Next slide, please. We need to understand that change equals growth. We are successful people. We will leverage uncertainty that can cause stress to pivot and become more innovative. We have personal empowerment. We are not going to be reactive to the change. We are going to be proactive and be part of the change through creating our future. And then finally, I want you to think on this. What if transition you're facing, whatever it is, what if that transition is the breakthrough that you've been waiting for, that you've been needing to get to that next level? Next slide, please. So here's our call to action. I want you to remember that stress and transition is normal. We all go through it, but it can be transformative. Also, it shifts our mindset when we take small steps to overcome those challenges and make them into opportunities, and embrace those new beginnings with intention and not fear. So I encourage you to commit to one strategy today and each day from now on until you move out of that stress and into the abundance that you have for yourself. Next slide, please. So again, my name is Sharon Harrel. You can reach me on LinkedIn. I'm on social media. And also, please like and subscribe my YouTube channel where you'll find more incredible information. Thank you.